God, thanks for just giving us this awesome opportunity to make podcasts and to talk and to just enjoy talking together and mulling over your laws and commands and cool things that you made in this world. Yeah, I'm just really glad that we have an awesome crew that hangs out with us and helps us do all this stuff. And that Seth's here, and I get to talk with him, and he gets to bounce ideas and stuff and check me when I say something stupid. So God, please help us come up with some good stuff to talk about and speak through us if you can, and make this productive. In your powerful name. Amen.
Amen.
We're talking about Ecclesiastes today. The book of Ecclesiastes. I didn't bring my Bible. I feel so bad.
It's okay. Nobody likes listening to the King James version.
I might actually consider switching. I feel like
Really? Why?
no, just
can't,
for preaching. Like if no,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
Do it.
Let me just understand what I'm saying here. I'm not gonna get rid of my King James Bible.
Right.
I'm just gonna teach maybe
Teach out of a different.
out of a different one. Like if we teach on a Sunday and I pull out a King James version, I feel like Rick's gonna be really recommending a different version for me.
Yeah, probably.
So
He'd make fun of you so much.
yep, dude, he already makes fun of me for using King James.
I know. You imagine if you went up on Sunday.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, it'd be brutal.
But he'd probably say it to the whole audience.
Yep,
too.
yep, he would.
What do you guys think of Nick's King James?
Oh gosh. But anyways,
Right.
So we had a teacher this last week on Ecclesiastes, and he was really good.
Yeah,
And he brought up he kind of took us through some of the main points of things that happened in Ecclesiastes, and really took us down some like rabbit holes that we got to think about a lot and process, and then ended it with the last session on like one light note. Everything was like depressing, heavy, and made you like just think life's not worth living. And at the very end, he gave like one happy hope note. That was it. What'd you think about it?
Is it the whole week?
Yeah, just like in general, what do you think about Dan Thomas?
Dude, I loved it. It was like, that was one of my favorite weeks. I love Ecclesiastes. It's so cool. Like,
But what about it do you like? Because it was pretty depressing for most of it.
I just feel like it's what a lot of people nowadays think, all the time. There's so many depressed people now. And there's so many people that are just like, feel like there's nothing here. There's nothing worth living for, And it's cool that the Bible addresses it in like a big way, in like a I'm feeling the same thing as you type of way.
Yeah. Dude, you
awesome.
think that because of the information age, like because we have like access to so much information that we get more exposed to things like that? Like Solomon, he was hyper exposed to like all the different cultures around him, right? With like 1,000 wives from all over the world, he gets exposed to different cultures, right? And I'm not saying that having 1,000 wives is a good thing. I'm just saying that was part of it, along with the fact that he was rich, wealthy, and had connections to all sorts of different countries that were around him, right? And he lived all the different stages of life. But for us, all we got to do is like type in so-and-so's name, and now we can like hear about somebody's, podcast of like, oh, this is what it's like living a rich life, or, this is what like this scientist thinks, or like all these different things. We have so much information that we didn't have before, or like that generation couldn't have had. So it's almost like we're experiencing more of what Solomon went through than they were, because they were more ignorant to some of the things that were around him. What do you think about that?
That's a good point. Maybe, how he talked about how there's earthly wisdom. Yeah.
Or is Lily going to kick him out? Whoa.
Pretend like you're still talking.
Stick him up.
Dude, you trying to get a picture for promotional things.
Promotional.
It's like,
Yeah. They're just like, word.
Also, do an intro, like the welcome to who would you like?
We'll do it at the end.
Yeah. Can we do it at the end? Because we already started.
Also, sometimes it takes a while to like kick off.
Mm-hmm.
So we just talk for
Just
a while.
process. Lily, did you really tell him off?
I was about to.
They were leaving. Was it Jenna and?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Lily just doesn't have the courage to do that, as we've experienced from moments in the past.
Can I talk again? Do you need it closer? Is that good?
Keep talking.
Hello. Hello.
You could give.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Up.
Do up and do what do a do a do a do up and do what do be do be do ba do be do ba do
Agent P. Perry.
What were you? Okay, what was it?
Agent Perry the platypus. We have another.
Barry. Welcome to the tri-state area.
Okay, are we good
We'll
to...
cover all of the tri-state area.
Wait, are we good to go again, or...
Wait, what did you ask me?
Let me remember as we get the opportunity to go again. Brain power. Oh, yeah. What do you think about the information age, like,
Yes.
causing us to be more depressed, like Solomon was when he...
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about earthly and heavenly wisdom.
Oh, yeah. Go into it.
Yeah.
Hit it up. Earthly and heavenly wisdom from our very own Seth Beal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it.
Are we good? Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I think, how I mentioned earthly and heavenly wisdom, how there's a difference in it, and how Solomon might have been given heavenly wisdom at the beginning, but as he almost became more, I want to say corrupt, but like influenced by the world, it became earthly wisdom,
Yeah. Which is a scary thought that, like, Solomon, who God literally gave him the gift of wisdom, was like, you're going to be the wisest man on earth, and no one will be wiser before or after you. And he, like, fell into earthly wisdom. And, like, how are we going to avoid that when we're, like, nothing compared to Solomon when it comes to intelligence and wisdom?
Or not.
I know, but it's got to be...
No, I know.
Anyways.
It's so hard to think about.
As you're saying, I kind of interrupted you.
No, you're good. I was just thinking, but what if, since we do have so much access to just any information we want, what if we have that earthly wisdom that he came to know and he came to kind of like process, and so we process the same things and we're like, yeah, life's meaningless.
Yeah.
We don't have anything here.
Yep. Well, I feel like the earthly wisdom is something you discover and not exactly is what told to us through culture. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's like your experience? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because the first thing that Solomon talks about in Ecclesiastes is the meaninglessness of life. Like, life is insignificant,
Yep.
right? But I feel like culture doesn't tell us that life's insignificant. It tells us the opposite. It's like, go and pursue glorifying yourself. Like, go, like, make a big name for yourself or something. Like, try your best to be remembered in the next few generations, right? But Solomon goes and discovers, he's like, well, give it 2-3 generations and everyone's going to forget your name. Like, everything you do will be forgotten and your name will not live on. Even if you try as hard as you can, you might be remembered for 1 or 2 generations, but they'll eventually forget you and your name will have meant nothing.
See, that's weird because I perceived it as like the earthly wisdom is he had a lot of like wisdom in how to get rich, how to be successful in life, like that kind of wisdom.
Well, those things were given to him by God. Because remember in the thing...
Well, yeah, God did tell him that. But I mean, like, business-wise, like, when you think of godly wisdom and heavenly wisdom, what kind of wisdom is that?
That I would consider, like, well, for one, I mean, based off of the book and after we went through it, right, like the purpose of life, knowing that is like a heavenly question, heavenly wisdom, right? I think understanding things that don't have a scarcity is part of heavenly wisdom. Let me try to explain that because I feel like out of context that doesn't make any sense. There are a lot of things in our world, good and bad, that have no scarcity, and they're just like ideals or emotions, or I don't know how to. I really don't. I personally don't understand them all that much. I just know the idea of it. I think most of us do, right? This love has no scarcity. You can give. Everyone in the world can be full of love, and there's still be more to give, right? There's no scarcity of it. Like for gold, there's a finite amount of it. Love, there's not. Yet it's still almost more valuable than gold, right? Or grace, or mercy, or hate, or greed. All those things are not they're not finite, and there's no scarcity of them. There's no lack and no exceedingly too great amount of them, right? So I think heavenly wisdom is partially understanding the concepts of those things, because I don't understand them, and I've met very few people that do, right? And when I do meet someone who understands them, it's generally because they're really close to God, really close to Jesus, and it kind of like they reflect like this heavenly wisdom of sorts, right? I'm trying to think back to a time when I could remember someone who was not close to Jesus who understood those things very well, and I can't really think back to a time. So, unless do you feel like you've met someone in your life who wasn't very close to God but understood any of those things?
I think so.
Have any examples?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Dude, now
See?
I'm scared to talk about anything.
You
Dude,
could.
I think I told you guys all, but dude, my friends or Sam freaking sent. Sorry, you can cut this out, Sean. Sorry, dude, sorry. Sam sent the podcast to an old friend
group chat.
Did I just tell you
Yeah,
that?
no, somebody else told me about it. I heard. Yeah.
And now I'm like scared to talk about anybody, dude.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything bad about it.
I'm not going to. I feel bad talking about anybody like at home now.
Yeah, I felt that too. We were doing like the whole 16 with God is better than 16 with the world, and like the person I was describing, I was like, shoot, if they listen to this, they're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. Like that's so awkward. But anyways,
I don't know how to even describe it though.
see, that's the hard part. It's like it's this wisdom that we don't have. It's something that we don't really know about.
So,
You know what I mean? Because
I have friends that, right, there's so many good people that aren't Christians.
yeah, but you don't have to be. Being good isn't like.
I know, but those are all the attributes you were talking about that are infinite.
But that's what what I'm saying is understanding what they are and understanding the things about them and being able to teach them to other people is something that I don't see very often, and I feel like it's a heavenly wisdom. That could be. I'm just I'm just balling it out here. I don't know if that's actually what heavenly wisdom is even supposed to be, but
think about every philosopher though. A lot of them were good dudes. They had a good concept of life. I'm not okay. There's a lot of bad philosophers.
yeah.
But there's some good philosophers.
Go to Romans 2. We have a suggested. This is not me, by the way. I know very little about this topic. We're just sending it because we think it's interesting.
What in Romans 2?
I don't even know. Okay, so
You can just say it. We're good with background talk.
Yeah, we enjoy background talk. Just say it loudly. Say again.
Make sure I got the right verses.
Okay, so he said they are a law for themselves in Romans
Is it 12?
2.
I have it highlighted.
Read 12 then.
For all who sin without the law will also perish without the law. That one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keep going. That whole section.
Okay. For all who sin without the law will also perish without the law, and all who sin under the law will be judged by the law. For the hearers of the law are not righteous before God, but the doers of the law will be justified. So when Gentiles who do not by nature have the law do what the law demands, they are a law. They are a law to themselves. Ooh, what does that mean? Even though they do not have the law. They show that the works of the law is written on their hearts. Their consciences confirm this. Their competing thoughts either accuse or even excuse them. Should I keep going?
That's
I feel like we got to where we needed to go though.
Okay.
He's basically, I think what he's trying to say, or what he is saying, is that Gentiles or people who don't understand, people who don't know God, if they know the difference between something that's good and evil, and they act out in evil anyway, then it's the same. They're liable for it, whether or not they were presented with the gospel or the law in that switch.
But then flip that on its head. What happens when they do something good?
When they do something good, they are blessed.
Are they living into the kingdom or are they not? Even though they don't know Jesus.
That's a really hard question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
What?
Dang.
Hang on.
Hold up. Because my whole definition of good that I've been living off of for the past year is C.S. Lewis's definition, which is that everything that looks at God is good and everything that does not look at him is bad. So if something is good, that means that it inherently is pointing to God in some way.
Yeah, it would still be
And
good.
that's either a wrong definition or Gentiles doing good things points to God.
Yeah. What's the point you're trying to make?
Well, you're talking about like the philosophers that you had that
Yeah.
do good things.
Yeah.
There's people in the
It still
world who
points
do
to
not
God.
know
Is that what you're
God
saying?
that do good things.
But also, how do we, like you're saying they're missing the salvation aspect.
Yeah.
How do we know that?
Because you know what I think is, you know what I think? I think that the only way to heaven or to salvation, right, is through Jesus. And that there's no way of us earning our way into salvation. So whether or not we're good people and whether or not we're pointing towards God, without Jesus, that means nothing. And that, well, maybe it doesn't mean nothing, but I don't think we can be saved without Jesus. He's the way, the truth, and life, right?
I don't think that's what he's saying.
But
How do
no,
we
but
know
that
they're
is what
not
he's saying. He's saying if they're doing good things, if they're following God's laws unintentionally, they're just like, they just in their heart know this is the law and they follow it, but they don't know God. How can they go to heaven? How can you get to heaven without Jesus when he is the only way?
No, he's saying, how do we know that they're not saved? How do we know that they don't have the salvation aspect?
What, philosophers?
Yeah.
Because of what they write?
I've probably read a lot of things that make me seem like I'm not Christian.
Yeah, I know, but they're not like published in front of everyone as like, oh, this is your life story. Like Homer, you ever heard of that philosopher?
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying every philosopher, Nick. I'm just saying like.
Okay,
some.
which ones are you thinking about in our world that you would consider to be good people that are philosophers that we have no idea whether or not they're Christian or not?
Didn't Plato say he wasn't a Christian? Plato?
Are you talking about like the old philosophers?
Yeah, I'm talking about.
The oldies, okay. I don't know anything about the oldies.
Didn't he like never
Very-
claim to be a Christian?
Okay,
Hey, will someone look up if Plato claimed to be like
Christian?
religious or Christian?
No, bro, guaranteed not.
And also what his ideals were. Yeah. Okay. Where were we at?
Okay, what we're
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
No. Okay,
no, this
hang
is
on.
good.
I actually
This
want
is
to go
what
back
we
to
do. This is literally what we do.
I actually want to go back to it. So what's your point again?
I'm trying to ask what's Paul's point. That's what
He's just asking questions. Okay,
I think that
after all
you
the
can
worship interns I've done with ends, he does not like to answer questions. He
yeah.
answers with questions.
No, that's good. That's what I think you're supposed to do. But what?
He was not a Christian, but a lot of his views did influence the Christian faith.
See? I would see. Cool. Told you.
Told me what? You said that Plato could have been a Christian, and he's not.
Okay, but did he just not claim to be, or were his beliefs?
He was not a Christian, but he influenced Christianity.
Okay, but that's what you're saying, though, right? Ends is there can be people that do good things because technically we're all still made in the image of God, and we still are like a reflection of Him, even if we haven't accepted salvation
I think
yet.
that God has put on our hearts a law, and it's called our consciousness.
Yeah.
right? And we know inherently the difference between good and evil, but we choose evil anyway. And there are some people that are good, right? For the most part, they choose good things. They do good things. Maybe they're like Mother Teresa good, but they don't claim to be Christian, or they don't know God, and they don't proclaim Jesus, right? What do we do with them? Are they saved? Do they have salvation?
But that's not the point you were making.
That's the question.
No,
and I
no,
think
that wasn't the question. Your
that is-
question at the beginning
What?
was, you said that there isn't anybody that you know of that
Yes.
understands
Yep.
those.
That's what I said. I don't know of anyone who understands love that isn't close to Jesus.
Really?
No, I don't think
You
so.
don't think there's anybody that
I don't. I'm not
understands
saying
truly?
I'm not saying I don't think there is anyone there. I'm just saying I haven't met that person and I don't know them, which implies that there's not a lot of them. So there's a few amount of people, or none, that I know of, right? That's why I was asking you. I was like, do you know anybody who like knows love like in a real way that's not close to Jesus?
What is real love?
What is real love? I may not be close enough to Jesus to answer that question, but I would call it like this. I think love is sacrificial. It's where you put someone else, when you put someone else before yourself, like, I'm going to live my life to make your life as good as it possibly can be.
You ever seen Frozen?
Yes. My sister put it on repeat like 21 plus times or something.
You know, Olaf says that exact line.
Yeah, but Olaf is an animated character.
Why is it in the movie? Are the people that made that movie Christian?
I have no idea,
Probably not.
but they're trying to teach something, a Christian moral value,
How do they know that if they're not saved?
because the law is written on our hearts.
You just said that nobody that's not saved, though, has that. You said there's nobody that understands love if they're not saved.
Well, I suppose we found somebody then. I was wrong. I was very wrong. I'm just trying to come up with ideas here.
I know. No, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
attack you.
No, I'm trying to figure out what the heavenly wisdom he was talking about is, right? And that's just something that I think is going to be in heaven, is these concepts or these ideas that we believe are true but we can't see or touch. And I have a hard time explaining them. And a lot of people I know have a hard time explaining them. So part of me wants to assume that they are fitting in that category of like heavenly wisdom. Now, that's a whole nother thing, is we can ask whether or not people in the world can have heavenly wisdom without being close to God. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Here's the thing I was thinking about, though, is, I don't know, I was trying to, it was hard for me to grasp the difference between heavenly and earthly wisdom and how God can give you a gift that, like, he's giving you it. Like, you have that. And then you lose it somehow. I just didn't understand the concept of losing it. You know what I mean? But then I was thinking, what if God gave him a gift, but he kind of had to work for it? And so he did receive wisdom, right? But he didn't fully understand and have that full heavenly wisdom until the end of his life, when he wrote that book, when he wrote Ecclesiastes. Because what if that heavenly wisdom is just straight up realizing nothing matters except for following God's commands? And it took him his whole life
To figure that one thing
just
out.
to figure out that one thing.
And that was the secret? Like, that's all the key to heavenly wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
That's very possible. Have you seen that movie, dang it. Can you guys help me out here? It's the movie about, like, his dad passes away. He gets, like, his inheritance distributed it out to all, like, his kids or whatever. And then he has one last gift to his youngest son. The ultimate gift, that's what it's called. And it's not even a physical object. All it is he gets like these video recordings, and they're telling him like, if you want your gift, then you have to do this. And it's like, go work for this random dude on a farm in Texas for like 3 months. And all he does is dig holes and put up posts and build a fence. For like 3 months, he's just building a fence. And then he has like another one, like make a real friend. You have 1 month. And then like he has like this series of events like that take him through like aspects of life and like learning how to live, you know? And then at the very end, he's like, sure, here's your $1 million. You win, you know? You did all the things and you got him. and he ends it with giving away his $1 million. So
Dang.
I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's like an amazing gift. Like that's something that I would want to receive. That'd be like really cool to get to go through an experience that changed you in a way. But it wasn't something that you immediately received. Like he didn't just get dropped on. I'm like, oh, now you know how to live life. But he's like, here's a journey that will teach you how to live life. Kind of like the Bible. Like you can't just, you can open face read the scripture, but it's not necessarily going to change you until you dive in and you take the journey of trying to apply it to your life, and then it starts to change you and, teaches you how to live. It's a pretty cool thought.
Wait, sorry. I have to go back to the movie.
So the first mention of love in the Bible is sacrifice. Is in relation to sacrifice to God.
To Abraham sacrificing his son.
To God. And that is like the first act of love. His sacrificing his one and only son is the first act of love in the Bible.
No, that's the first time love was mentioned.
First time love is mentioned, but it is like an act of love. I don't know how that's an act of love.
Wait, hang on.
It's a love towards God because you would do anything to follow God's commandments.
Yes.
You would sacrifice.
Because it doesn't say it's an act of love to sacrifice your son. It says, your son whom you love, go kill him.
Whoa, hold up. Dude, what if...
Can we back that up? There's so much more context.
There is so much more context to be given there. Sorry. That is something we can talk. That's not what we were talking about, but we could bring it back to that.
So Frozen's still sharing the Bible to the world.
Frozen is sharing the Bible to the world in a different way.
It's just like when Rick's son, they don't say white as snow, they say like sheep brains or whatever, because that's the whitest thing they know, right? It's relating it to a different culture, but it's still the same story, and they still have that concept in mind.
What was that?
Whoa. That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we just discovered that I'm wrong in every way with the statement I made earlier. But that's okay.
I don't know where we're at, dude.
Yeah. So what we were at is
Why'd you say we need to go back? Just because I said he killed his son?
Well, okay. So I think it's because I said that the first act of love was sacrifice towards God was Abraham sacrificing his son, which was wrong because it's your son whom you love. And the act was Abraham's love to his son Isaac, not Abraham's love towards God. That was worship, not love. I don't know if I feel like those could be both and or, but you were going to say something about the ultimate gift, that movie we were just talking about. I don't remember where they tied in.
So hang on. You said then he gave the $1 million away. Did the son that received it gave it away again?
Yes.
Oh, dang, dude. So he went through all that and then just gave it away?
Yep.
What was the moral of the story?
The moral of the story was, it was like, I don't know. It was a couple of morals. It was the ultimate gift was his dad, who basically neglected him most of his life, or like what seemed like neglected him, right? He basically taught him how to live. And just different morals throughout the thing, like how to have like what it means to be a true friend, what it means to work. There was a few others that I did not. What it means to like give, and there's a couple other ones that I don't remember. But it was just a list of things. It was like the morals on how to live life. Dude, I really wish that... So when we were talking about that Abraham and Isaac story, right? With the first mention of love in the Bible being Abraham sacrificing his son whom he loved to God, which is also the first act of worship in the Bible. And you said like that the act of love was not sacrificing Isaac, but it was obeying God.
He said that.
He said that. Sean said that.
Yep.
Which, dang, I wish it said love there, but so it doesn't say that exactly that the first act of love was Abraham sacrificing his son, but the first act of worship was Abraham sacrificing his son. So worship is super closely tied to obedience to God, which we just earlier were talking about, Ecclesiastes being this possibility of the wisdom that God gave Solomon maybe was played out throughout his whole life and circled back around to, after living through all of it, he finally receives the gift of wisdom after going through the journey, which is fear God and obey his commands, which is the first act of worship in Scripture. So it's like your purpose in life is to worship God.
Whoa.
That's cool.
What do you think? So you're part of this now.
Yeah, you're just like here because we have like this source ends and he's just super smart. So we got to like.
We're bringing him on soon.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
we are. Next episode, maybe.
Was the first act of worship in Genesis 22 though? Or was it the first time worship was mentioned?
First time worship was mentioned, but I believe it was mentioned in the action of that. You can double check me. I could be off. You can double check me.
It's the first time
throughout Genesis.
worship
That was the first time
was
it was
mentioned.
mentioned.
Yes.
But what happens is Abraham explains to the men that he's walking with Isaac that we're going to go over there to that mountain and worship. You guys stay here.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how to relate to them that I'm going to go sacrifice my son.
Yep.
And then God says, like, go take your son whom you love, which is another hyperlink forward to a whole bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
And sacrifice him on the mountain. But that's a hyperlink back to a whole bunch of other things previous in the Abraham story. Like, because he's called his only son whom he loves, when in reality, it's not even Abraham's first son. Which is a whole nother adventure for a whole different day.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because he didn't want to give up Ishmael either. That's tough. But see, now my brain is just trying to process where to go after this. Jesus.
Loves the world.
So, we wanted to talk about Ecclesiastes.
Hey, we got the verse 3.
Yeah. That's a really cool idea, though. Do you think that could be actually what it is? Ecclesiastes is the gift of the journey of life, which leads to heavenly wisdom, being fear God, obey his commands.
Oh, that's like the only way I can think about it where it works.
Either that, or he just like shunned God and left him in the dust. Because I feel like he did fear God and obey his commands in the beginning. Like, he got the point. And then somewhere along the way, among the money and the women and the opportunities that the world had offered him, somewhere in looking at the tree, he saw that the fruit was good, and he took it, and he ate it, and his life went to absolute just... I'm trying to look for a clean word here. Something bad.
Yep.
And then he circled around after that whole journey and found at the end of his life that the only purpose for humanity is to fear God and obey his commands. Dang. Which sucks because that's so hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Do you think he obeyed it after? If he's the...
What,
'cause-
Solomon?
Hang on, wait. When were we talking about it? Wisdom is the knowledge with the application, yeah?
The application of the knowledge is wisdom.
Yeah. So and that was one of the reasons why I was thinking it doesn't make sense. Because if God gave him that gift, he would know how to apply it. He would apply it. He wouldn't know how to. He would apply it. And so it would make sense if the whole journey was leading him to that gift. At the end of his life, he applies it. And then he lives out.
Which sucks because, as we see in the last chapter of Ecclesiastes, he's basically dying.
Yep.
It's like,
But who cares? He goes to heaven, dude.
hopefully.
You don't think he's in heaven?
No, dude, I'm sure he is.